What's up, guys? So, back from the drift event. That was this past weekend. It's Wednesday now. I only had one casualty on the Z. I was looking it over. It seems my fuel sender no longer works. And a common issue with these cars is the top hat will break and drop the fuel pump assembly and the sender kind of into the tank. So my goal for today is to actually get that apart. Take a look at it. I have some stuff around the shop that I think I should be able to fix it with. So we'll see. I mean, assuming that's the case, I don't have to buy a new sender. But that's one issue. We'll take a look at that. And I figured I'd give you guys a quick update, just kind of what's going on at the garage. I know I haven't really mentioned too much with all going on right now. So I'll give you a quick rundown. I know we haven't been really doing a build series on this car. Kind of, it was like the sequel to Ted's Z project, because he kind of, he was going to, so an update to that actually. Ted was going to get rid of that Z and put the RB25 in the Skyline, which he's still doing. But I think he actually might end up keeping the Z and maybe putting an RB20 in it. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but that's still kind of on hold. My buddy Donnie got a Supra, so that's great. Some pretty wonderful eye candy to have sitting in the garage when I'm here working on some other stuff. And then I have another project car. This is a 1980 Corvette. My dad actually bought this car in '86, and it's been around my whole life. And he's kind of done working with it, so he kind of dumped it off on me to get fixed. The motor was kind of toast, so got a crate motor for that. I haven't really been building too much on this car, and I probably won't do much of a series with it since it's not really my cup of tea. So it's kind of my escape. Like when I want to just work and not really worry about filming, that's kind of it. But I might just kind of show periodically that car, maybe, and kind of some updates here and there with these videos. But just know that's why it's in the background. So that'll be a cool little fun summer project. But back to the Z, I have to get to the fuel pump, and unfortunately, this custom-made fiberglass box for an 8-inch sub. Now, I actually really like that. It's a great place for a subwoofer and to not have it in the trunk and get more trunk space. But I don't know how to take it out. I've looked at it, and it might actually be glued in or something, so I might have to break some shit to get that out, but I really kind of want to retain it if possible, but maybe make it easier to get out in the future. So that'll be fun. Step one will be taking that seat out, and then 2 will be tearing that out and getting to the fuel pump. Not sure if this will be a full-length video, but who knows? I might just lump this into the next drift event, or tail it on the end of the other one. I don't know. But moral of the story, it was a pretty bittersweet drift event, because the car drove phenomenal, and it's a stock car, and I kind of had some self evaluation on it, and I think a lot of the reason why that car was so great to drive, and maybe this is some humble brag, but I feel like I did get some really usable seat time with the RX-7, and I really got some good skill, and same with using my sim in the off season and during this whole virus situation. I really think it just made me realize what really makes a good drift car is just having a car that's able to drive, that is able to drift. It has everything it needs, but not anything more works. So the RX-7 was overkill. It was really overkill. And I having this stock Z and it being almost as good as it was really highlighted what it's missing. And I never had that with the RX-7. I just built the car and drove it, and it was great. So, with this, I can really identify that, it needs coilovers because A, the struts are toast already and they're stock and bouncy. It really doesn't need much more angle. I really wish I could just squeeze another 5 degrees out of it, but unfortunately, I'm not sure if there's anything I can do. I don't think there's anything aftermarket. They don't have a GK Tech bolt-on kit like the 350Zs do. But maybe I can work something like that out. And, it might need some cooling. The car doesn't get hot, but the power steering boiled off. By the end of the event, I was pretty low on power steering. It's not leaking anywhere. But other than that, like, it's great out of the box. I mean, you guys saw it. Like, it just went out there phenomenal. Did a great job. I mean, I don't intend on running a group with the car since right now it's my only car. You know, not only is it, and a handbrake. I need to get either make this handbrake work better or get a hydro, which I'm not sure if I'm ready to commit for right now. But I'm not ready to run a group with this car. A, because it's my only car and I don't want to smash it up or risk someone else smashing it up. Or B, I don't think it's at the level of driving it needs to be in a group. And I have no intention on putting a cage in that car, at least for a long time. So that's that. And it was kind of cool to go to a drift event. And I mean, people always say, like, you know, no one goes to a drift event to try to get to the next group, you know, but it's always in your head that you're trying to almost do the best you can so that people notice that you're progressing and you get bumped. You know, it's like always a big thing about drifting. So being in a lower group than I normally drive just to protect my car was kind of like, it was fulfilling. It was just like, hey, I'm going out there having a good time. If I spin, so what? It's a stock Z, you know, and it was great. I got to sit in the grid with AC. I had people come up to me all day like, Jesus, man, I can't believe this thing's stock. So it was just wild to like get to just hang with everyone, camp out. So this past weekend was exactly what I needed right now. It was incredible. I had an absolute blast. And then there's actually another drift event this Sunday that I grabbed a spot for. It's a B&A only day. Josh will be there again, and a couple of my other friends are going to be there. So that's going to be awesome. But I'm going to try to get this fuel thing situated. If I can't, it's not a big deal. It still works. It just, the gauge doesn't read correctly. So I have to fill it up all the time. Because if any of you guys are Z guys, you understand what happens when these things get low on gas. Because they have a saddle tank, the gas can slosh to the other side of the tank, and then you don't have any fuel, and it sucks. So you got to you have to keep them topped up, which is kind of difficult if you don't have a gas gauge. So I'm stalling because it's hot outside, but I got to get out there and pull that seat out and get to the fuel tank and all that fun stuff. So I got the seat out. Now I got to figure out how to get this chunky thing out of here. Ooh. So it actually kind of just popped out. There was a little bit of like tape kind of here in the back. But other than that, it's actually a pretty nice piece. This is fiberglass, really thick fiberglass. So clearly someone just like filled this with painter's tape and then glued it all up. You can see where I broke all this plastic trying to get it out before. But yeah, there's the fuel tank. So easy peasy. I'm just going to leave this connected because I don't know if this comes off. I'm just going to leave it for now. I don't need any more room. So there's that. So I got the assembly out, and that's exactly what happened. These rods had broken. I started taking it apart before I filmed it, which I'm kind of bummed about. But there was, where'd it go? There's a little black spacer. Here we go. So this rod, the spring was on one rod, and it was in here with a clip, but the top had broken off that. So what I'm doing is I'm going to try to I was originally going to drill this out and through bolt it, but this is actually like the perfect kind of material to accept a 1024 thread, and this looks reinforced, so I don't think this is going to go anywhere. And I'd rather do that, than that way I don't have to reseal the top hat. So I'm going to try to thread these into here with some Loctite, and then what I'm going to do is double nut the bottom of them and try to reinstall this spring. So that way, because the length isn't actually like important, it kind of like compresses against the bottom of the tank. So I'm going to try to keep that length right. And it ended up working out where these rods were exactly 8 inches. So as you can see, it'll be about 8 inches. And that will be a little shorter, but if I have to, I can take a little length off the spacer here so the spring's a little more compressible. Hopefully it's not too short. We'll see. We will see. Because essentially, if that's where that is, this is going to thread in a little longer, and then that'll kind of give us the thickness we were looking for with just the 2 nuts at the bottom. So I'll get it together, see how it comes out.
Well, that's what happens when you fucking do things.
So I got in the zone and just fixed this, but essentially what I did was I threaded that rod into those open holes, and then I used the jam nut to kind of hold it in there. And then when I pushed it, I put the spring and the spacer back on, and while pushing down, I was able to put a jam nut set on the bottom, so this won't come flying out again. And everything's good. Hopefully I got the length right. We'll see when I go to put it in. I should feel pressure from this as I'm tightening it. If not, I didn't make it long enough, which would stink, but I think we're good. This looks plenty long enough. Actually, I measured before. Shit. Oh yeah. I measured the tank. It was 10.5 inches to the top of the tank, so this is plenty long enough. Sweet. I'm gonna go put this back in and hope everything works. So got that all back together. Fuel gauge does appear to work now, which is good. Now I gotta struggle to put that seat back in. Womp. Well, I know I didn't. Do it. Well, I know I didn't film much of that. But I hope it was useful to somebody. It seemed like there wasn't too much info online without kind of hacking it. So appears to work. We'll see if the gauge works. Maybe I should update this once the gauge works. I will follow up the next time I'm here showing you that the gauge works when I fill it up. That way I'm not just spewing bullshit. See you then. So an update to the video I took last night. We got working fuel gauge. I think one of those posts on the tank actually was broken for a while, because before I'd fill it up and it would always be like a dot or two shy of full. And now it's reading completely full. I actually even overfilled the tank a little bit by just to make sure that it was enough, and it's been full for like my entire ride home. So assuming this starts to go down soon, and it's not stuck full now, I think it's working and we're good. So that's sweet. Oh, I can't believe you could fix that for as cheap as I did. I mean, that cost me $7 at Home Depot for one length of like 36-inch threaded rod and some nuts, and I got way more than enough, just so I'd have extra. So you probably could have done that for like $5. And it was really easy to do. And the other options would have been to buy a whole new assembly from Nissan, which is, a garbage design, would have cost $400 and something, or you get that billet CJM top hat that uses the rods, the stock rods. That's like $270, which would have been like the right way to do it, because then you're eliminating the problem. But this way, I still think is stronger than stock, and it's a quick fix, and it'll get you by. And if it were to happen again, I could upgrade at that point. It's not like it's that hard to get to. Yeah. So I'm not sure how long this video is going to be. I might just lump it into the next drift weekend, but if not, I hope you guys liked this. I hope it was helpful in some way. I'm sure any of you Z guys out there would find it useful. If you want to keep following along with this new Z drift project, or anything else I do on the channel, hit subscribe and hit that little bell so you can get a notification when I post a video. I'll see you guys at the drift event this Sunday. Bye.